Oh, good. Yusef's here.
Yusef, run!
Artery, he should be fine.
What are you doing?
Have a seat. So I guess you're wondering why I'm here.
The court free him.
Because your son and his friends had to pull her into a bush in the quiet part of the park.
We will be better in the future, I promise that.
What I mean is, did they dress wrong?
You wrote that she deserved it. Yusef, you're going to pick up your phone. You're going to start calling your friends.
You need to come over here. Bring your brother and call Idris.
What's wrong? You are all nothing but playthings.
The universe demands balance. You are no longer the victims. I do this for you until you learn to do it for yourself.
The movie begins with a horrific crime in a major city. A young 14-year-old girl is brutally attacked and left for dead by a violent street gang. When the case goes to court, the corrupt judges completely fail the victim. Instead of giving the criminals heavy prison time, the court hands them tiny suspended sentences, letting them walk away free. This injustice absolutely shocks the public, including a very wealthy American businessman named Sanders, who is currently living out in Croatia. Sanders looks at the broken system and realizes that the official laws will never protect innocent people. Furious at the judges and the rising urban crime around him, Sanders decides to take matters into his own hands and goes on a dark mission to clean up the streets himself. Sanders spends his massive fortune buying high-grade tactical gear, hidden trackers, and illegal military weapons. He starts tracking down the exact gang members who escaped justice for the attack on the young girl. One by one, Sanders traps them in dark alleys and hidden parking garages, executing them without showing any mercy. He does not stop at just the low-level thugs. Sanders also uses his tech skills to investigate the corrupt system. To spread his message, Sanders records parts of his dark missions and posts the evidence online. Almost overnight, his brutal campaign hits social media and goes completely viral across the globe. Millions of ordinary people look at his videos and begin to see Sanders as an absolute public hero. They start calling him the citizen vigilante.
He's a real hero.
He's like the real deal.
You walk down the street and you get stabbed.
The universe demands balance.
An elite Interpol chief named Henry is put in charge of the task force to catch the unknown killer. Henry is a strict lawman who believes that vigilantism is an extreme threat to a safe society, no matter how bad the criminals are. Henry studies the crime scenes in Croatia and realizes they are dealing with someone who has massive wealth, deep military training, and high-tech tracking equipment.
There are indications leading in this direction.
Meanwhile, Sanders continues to enforce his own brand of order on the streets, starting with minor offenses. While riding a local transit bus, 3 rowdy young passengers refuse to pay for their tickets, causing an angry argument with the bus driver and delaying the entire vehicle. Stepping in to solve the problem, Sanders pulls out his own money and pays the driver 45 euros to cover the men's tickets so the bus can move. He then turns around and gives the troublemakers a strict lecture, explaining that when people get on a bus without paying, the cost of everything goes up by 10% for honest people. He coldly tells them they will look back at this day and realize it was the luckiest day of their lives.
Thanks for the ticket, sir.
On another day, when Sanders is walking through a local public park, he unexpectedly crosses paths with the exact same rowdy young men. The bullies are up to their old habits, cornering and harassing a helpless man on a park bench. Recognizing them instantly, Sanders steps in with absolute force and completely overpowers them.
Remember when I told you on the bus that it was your lucky day?
Sanders then shifts his focus back to the primary targets. He visits a young woman named Elsa, who is resting in a hospital bed after being deeply traumatized by a brutal crime. He sits by her side and asks her what she wants to happen to the men who hurt her. When she says she wants them to go to jail for the rest of their lives, Sanders gently explains the harsh reality of the broken legal system. He warns her that a real trial could take years, forcing her to repeat her horrific story over and over in front of people who will call her a liar, all while praying the judge sides with them. He asks her if that is the true justice she wants.
Do you want justice?
Yes.
With his resolve hardened, Sanders tracks the gang leader Yusuf down to his own apartment, slipping inside like a shadow and catching the criminal completely off guard. He immediately takes Yusuf and his family hostage, trapping them in the living room.
What do you want
Face
from
down
us?
on the table. I want you to have a seat.
But instead of showing any remorse or fear for what Yusuf did to the young girl, his family shockingly begins to defend him. They shout excuses, trying to deflect the blame, and disgustingly claim the victim was the one at fault. Hearing his family try to justify such a horrific crime makes Sanders' blood boil. Disgusted by their absolute lack of humanity, he decides right then and there that none of them deserve mercy. Coldly holding Yusuf at gunpoint, Sanders forces him to pick up the phone, dial his accomplices, and order the entire gang to come over to the apartment immediately.
You need to come over here. Bring your brother and call Idris.
One by one, the rest of the attackers arrive at the house, completely clueless that they are walking straight into a trap. The moment the entire crew is inside, he unleashes pure vengeance, ruthlessly executing Yusuf, his defending family members, and every single one of his accomplices right there on the spot, completely wiping out the entire gang in a matter of moments. The investigation intensifies when Sanders is hanging out at a local nightclub. While there, he notices two men secretly slipping a drug into the drinks of their female dates, while the women aren't looking. Without making a scene, Sanders quietly slides over and cleverly switches the drugged beverages with the men's own clean drinks. The two men consume their own spiked drinks and pass out right at the bar.
These two guys, when you were in the bathroom, they put something in your drink. They drank them. Hence.
While this happens, Interpol Chief Henry is closely watching Sanders from across the room. He uses this exact moment to slip over and collect the drinking glass Sanders left behind, finally allowing the police to obtain his DNA. Armed with the concrete DNA evidence he gathered from the nightclub, Chief Henry tracks down Sanders' true location and decides it's time to end this crusade once and for all. He assembles a heavily armed SWAT team and leads a surprise raid directly on Sanders' hideout. But Sanders is far from an ordinary target. Utilizing his military background, he instantly reacts to the breach, barricading himself inside a heavily armored container on the property. As the SWAT team surrounds the structure, Sanders gives them a final cold warning over the comms to back off and leave. Ignoring his threat, the officers open fire, unleashing a hail of bullets on his position. Sanders strikes back with lethal military-grade precision, engaging the tactical team in a brutal firefight and wiping out the SWAT officers one by one. To ensure his escape, Sanders triggers a hidden explosive booby trap. The blast tears through the hideout, leaving Chief Henry severely injured in the wreckage as Sanders effortlessly slips away into the night. Sanders approaches the chief under the guise of an officer, delivering an urgent update. Before Henry can even realize something is wrong, Sanders closes the distance and injects him with a powerful sedative. As Henry sits trapped in the front seat, drifting heavily under the influence of the drug but still conscious enough to hear, Sanders turns to him to deliver a chilling warning. He looks directly at the fading chief and declares that the police and the government have completely failed the public, letting violent monsters walk away while innocent people suffer. Sanders uses the helpless chief to send a message straight to the top, commanding him to tell the government that citizens will no longer tolerate a broken legal system. He leaves Henry with one final, terrifying ultimatum before the drug completely takes over. If the authorities refuse to change the laws and protect the innocent, then the people will take the law into their own hands and do it themselves. With his dark message delivered, Sanders exits the vehicle and disappears into the night.